Shoes off. Can't come into an Indian living room without taking your shoes off. So welcome to my living room. This is my Kenyan Indian living room from the 1980s. And it's a recreation of me and my family growing up in the 1980s. The kinds of objects around us and the furnishings, the textiles, everything is really similar to how it was when I was growing up in that period and how I remember it. This particular cupboard, a lot of Indians used to have a cupboard like this, which was a way to present all your best things. And one of the things as a Kenyan Indian that most African Indians have are these types of ornaments, which are the wooden animal ornaments, really very significant to a lot of the African Indians that actually have been to this exhibition and have interacted with it and said, we used to have loads of those. So Jambo Cinema, Jambo means hello in Swahili, and it's also a very welcoming, fun kind of word, and I wanted people to feel exactly like that. This was quite important to me, that people came in, they feel welcome, they also feel like it's their home. They're experiencing the intimate world of somebody they don't know, but also they see a part of themselves in some of the items in this room. Items and objects that, you know, are long gone because it's all about looking forward. And I think for many Asian families, you know, and sort of any immigrant family really, when they come to this country, you don't know what circumstance they've come here under. So it's always about progression, it's always about looking forward, not really looking back. So it's about looking at a moment that doesn't exist anymore, but is an important part of South Asian social history. And this here is a picture of my father. Now that's not too far after when he arrived in the UK. When my father came here, so he came first and my mum arrived later on, I think about 5 or 6 years later. And my father was a qualified electrician, but he couldn't really get work with the way he looked, so he had to cut his hair. It's a really big part of your identity to let go of for the sake of fitting in and actually not being accepted for who you are. So when he got his business, after he was made redundant and he set up this business, he grew his hair back, and it was really like he was reclaiming his identity, and the shop was much more than just a shop. It was about reclaiming your own identity and feeling comfortable and saying, this is who I am, and now I can be myself because I've taken control of my own destiny. And then here's the shop. What's happened here is that we've retained so much of this stock, so much of the artwork, the films, everything else. And it's interesting and it's important for me and you know, as my father and our family story, but it then became clear to me that this was a bigger story than that. It was significant to lots of South Asian communities across the UK. And anyone that comes in here, there's some sort of sense of familiarity about coming into a place like this, including the shop, including the living room. It's kind of about taking people back to a time where people had more time, they had less things, they had less entertainment for sure, and kind of sitting around on a Saturday, Sunday, renting out films. It really encouraged that kind of family bond, and it really encouraged downtime as well, and downtime is something that a lot of us don't have anymore. So this is the Bollywood the Bollywood wall, and these are some of the sleeves from the films that we've got, nearly 400 of them. So Bollywood films provided that vital access to South Asian communities, whether they were Sikh, Muslim or Hindu, to be entertained and to act as part of their culture and their heritage, their language, their stories. And also for women, look at what was fashionable, actually the men as well maybe, but yeah, what was fashionable, how people were dressing. So to be able to see that and to still feel connected to home when you're so far away and everything around you is so vastly different in terms of the language, the food, the customs, the culture, these films provided a way for us to immerse ourselves back into that world that we were so far removed from.